Okay. Yeah, it's come up. Okay, so we're recording now. So welcome. My name's Lynn, and I'm taking the session today on managing anxiety, and we'll be doing a couple of meditations today in that theme. So anxiety obviously is a growing problem, and it's believed sort of 1 in 14 people will suffer some form of anxiety worldwide. So it's something that you know, I feel there is a real need that we should be looking at this and doing something to help people. It can be experienced in lots of different ways. So anxiety for some people might bring really intense feelings of distress. And but the thing is about anxiety is that we've all experienced it at some point or another, so we can all relate to that. But for most of us, it is something that's temporary. We feel it arise in the body and then it passes. But for other people, it becomes something that is almost crippling and all-encompassing. So anxiety occurs because of that sort of fight or flight mechanism that we have within. And the more we kind of keep returning to the state, then the more the anxiety grows, until for some people it can become, you know, really an ongoing experience that's very stressful. Stress, as we know, is is something that induces anxiety. And there is obviously quite an overlap between sort of stress and anxiety, and we are going to be looking at how to cope with stressful situations later, in a couple of weeks later. But of course, you know, they are related, and the meditations we will do today could be used for stressful situations in the same way that the ones we do in a couple of weeks' time can be used for anxiety. So meditation really, in essence, is about training in awareness. So through meditation, we can start to recognize those triggers, those triggering thoughts that cause the anxiety, and we can work around these to develop sort of different mental patterns. So the first step really to managing anxiety is just sort of recognizing that that it's a cognitive state, and it's connected to our inability to control or regulate our emotional experience, our emotional state. So it's through meditation that we can learn about those thoughts and those stories and those feelings that trigger anxiety. And hopefully we can learn then to sit with those feelings or thoughts, and in time able to let them go. So meditation teaches us not to detach ourselves really from the thoughts in our head. So we have these thoughts, but they're not really us. They're not who we are. They don't define us. And meditation shows us how we can be almost an observer of our thoughts. And often when we observe them, we can see that they can be irrational. So meditation is not a quick fix, unfortunately. It does take time to develop awareness of yourself. But consistent practice has shown that it does reprogram your neural pathways in the brain, and then of course this helps to improve the ability to regulate your emotional state. So what we're going to do today is a noting meditation, and it's a fundamental technique that keeps our thoughts in proportion. And if you've ever tried meditating before, you'll know that it's very easy for the mind to wander. And sometimes we don't really know what to do when the mind wanders. But noting is a really good technique for sort of identifying where the mind wanders and then gives it sort of closure, so then you can sort of come back to whatever the object of your meditation is. So what we'll do is we'll be meditating, our mind will drift off, and then we will just note or label it almost, thinking or feeling. So if we've got a thought that comes into the head, we'll be labeling it thinking. If we have a sensation in the body, we will note it as feeling, and then we come back to the object of our meditation. And we'll just keep doing this over and over so that we start to be able to stay longer with that control over our mind and stay longer with that awareness. And I want you to know that you don't have to sort of chase every thought that comes into the mind. It's really just about whenever you feel lost in a thought, that's when you need to just note that thought and come back. Also, we're not really fighting our thoughts, getting frustrated. You do this bringing yourself back each time with sort of gentle ease. So we're being kind to ourselves. We are acknowledging that, you know, thoughts do come into the head, the mind does wander. It's not a failing, and just coming back when we're ready. So I'll guide you through it, but what we'll do is just come into a nice comfortable seated position for this meditation. So if you have the opportunity to just place the feet flat on the floor, sit up with a straight back and just rest the hands gently in the lap. Soften the shoulders. And we're going to start with 3 deep breaths. Those of you that have done any of my meditations before will know this is the way we always come into our meditation. We're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale through the mouth. And at the moment, we're just keeping the eyes open. 2 more breaths. And on this 3rd breath, just close the eyes. Or if you prefer, just soften the gaze. Start to bring the attention inwards. Getting comfortable. Letting the breath return to a natural rhythm. And just settling into the space around you. Notice some of the sounds near to you. Sounds further away. And then bring it back into the body. Just feeling the body now pressing down into your seat. The feet connected with the floor. And just take a little scan through the body just to build up a slightly better picture of what's going on physically in the body. So just starting at the top of the head, just taking 30 seconds to go through the body. Noting any discomfort, maybe ease in the body. When you've worked through the body, just get a general sense of how you're feeling emotionally. Now just allowing the focus of our meditation to be on the breath. So just noticing that natural rhythm of your breath. Just becoming a little more familiar with the rhythm of your breath today. Notice continuing to follow the breath in the same way. And every time you notice that the mind has wandered, perhaps feeling a sensation in the body, just noting that, labeling it thinking or feeling, and gently coming back to observe the breath. Choose wherever you feel most comfortable to observe the breath. Whether it's the nostrils, where you feel the air touch the back of the throat, or maybe the rise and fall in the body from the breath. Whatever feels most natural to you. When you notice you've been lost in a thought or feeling, coming back in your own time. Don't worry if it keeps happening and you have to keep coming back. Doing it with a gentle ease. Now just letting go of that focus on the breath. And just for a moment, allow the mind to be free. And then settle the breath, settle the mind back into the body. Back into the sensation of sitting here on your chair, being in this room, aware of all the sounds, aware of the space around you. When you're ready, just opening the eyes, coming back. Lovely. So if you need to move a little in your chair or have a little stretch, sip of water, whatever you need. And just pause for a moment as well, just feeling how that feels. So hopefully you got a sense of the potential of this exercise, what it would be like if you were able to step back from your thoughts and recognize, ah, yes, that's anxiety that's coming up there. Rather than feeling I am anxious. It's about not sort of being caught up in the middle of anxiety. It's being able to just sort of see it as a feeling or a thought that just arises and detaching from it. And I suppose it might sound a little fanciful at first because, like I say, it takes time to sort of train in this kind of awareness, and it takes time for change to happen. And also it's important to recognize that, you know, you can't get rid of anxiety. That's not what we're doing here. You know, anxiety happens to all of us, and it's not about getting rid of it, but it's about learning how to manage it when it arises, because we can't stop it, but we can change the relationship that we have with it, and we can also start to notice our thought patterns. So by doing this noting exercise, you can kind of develop on that. So, you know, we were just doing the first stage where we're just noting, are we thinking, are we feeling? And then you can take that a bit further, you know, the thought, thinking about the past, thinking about the future. And you can start to learn what the patterns are in the way that you think. And that's really what it is. Developing an awareness is just about learning more about ourselves. And as you can probably realize from this exercise, you know, we don't have to just sit in meditation to develop this kind of awareness. We can actually do it in our everyday life. You know, our minds are often distracted in things that we're doing, and we can do the same. Thinking about this, feeling this, you know, whenever we get distracted. So we're also going to do another short meditation. This one is a body scan. And this one as well is a really useful one for people with anxiety, because our emotions are all experienced physically in the body. So learning body awareness kind of teaches us to pay attention to all the physical sensations that we have in the moment. And it helps us to sort of become more attuned with ourselves and the sort of physical reactions that we experience. So again, we can sit with these physical sensations in the same way that we can sit with our thoughts in our head. And exploring these sensations will also help us to notice where that anxiety creeps in, where it manifests itself in the body. So anxiety releases stress hormones into the body, and as you probably know, too many of these hormones can lead to medical problems, and you know, they can result in things like poor sleep, lower immune system, high blood pressure, for example. And so meditation can help counter some of those feelings and help us to sort of create, I suppose, some space really for us to move away from focusing on worrying thoughts and to bring that focus inwards into the body. So just sort of being present in this way is very calming and very relaxing. And it helps us to recognize as well parts of the body where we hold tension. So stress and anxiety is related to tension as well in the body. It manifests itself as tension in the body. So, we probably all are aware of certain parts of the body where we have a lot of problems going on, and this is often the same parts of the body where we hold a lot of tension. So when we learn about ourselves, we can learn to release that tension. And hopefully some of the sort of, potential medical problems that we might have that anxiety can induce. So for this next meditation, you can lie down if that is an option for you. But if you're sitting on a chair which has a back, then I suggest you kind of just sort of sit back in the chair and be a little more comfortable and relaxed for this meditation. So get yourself comfortable. Same posture as before, but with the back a little more relaxed, just leaning back into your seat. So hands just resting and the feet just planted, grounded on the floor. Starting in the same way with the eyes open, with 3 deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as before, on this last one, just soften the gaze or close the eyes. And take a moment just to settle in, just to make the body comfortable. Make those final little adjustments so that the body can be still. And just bring the awareness to your surroundings, first of all, just aware of any sounds, any smells. And then just drawing that attention back into the body. Just feeling the body as a whole. And getting a sense of your current mood. So we're going to take a little journey through the body. We're going to start down at the feet. So I just want you to bring your awareness down to your toes and into your feet. And just begin to feel the weight of your feet pressing down to the floor. And we're just going to notice all the little details. So does the weight fall evenly between the feet? And you notice the sensations of the fabric on your socks or the feel and the pressure of your shoes on your feet. Are there any sensations present? What temperature do the feet feel? So we're just bringing a real curiosity into the feet, and we're going to take that same journey through the body. So just moving that attention now into the calves and the lower legs, and just taking in whatever the shins and the calves are trying to tell you about themselves in this moment. And the knees. And the upper legs, so the thighs pressing against the chair. Sensation maybe of the hands just resting on the legs. Coming up through the body, just feeling the seat, the lower back, the pelvis. And spreading that awareness into the stomach. Just notice here, perhaps a little movement from the rise and fall of the breath. Taking that awareness up through the body to the chest, the shoulders, and awareness of both arms. You move away from the arms, bring awareness to the neck and the head. And to the face. Feel the jaw unclenched, the tongue relaxed inside your mouth. Cheeks relaxed. Eyes soft. Forehead smooth. The whole body feels relaxed. And bring that awareness to the whole body, just feeling the whole body now. Gently coming away from the focus on the physical body. Spreading that awareness back into the surroundings, letting in the sounds around you. Being aware of yourself in this room at this moment. And when you're ready, it's more just opening the eyes and coming back. Lovely. So again, just pausing, noting how you feel. Lovely. So this is the body scan. So we're bringing our focus into the body, and it's a lovely technique to take the mind away from worrying thoughts and to sort of stay focused. So other good useful techniques just to add is maybe to take a moment after you do this kind of exercise just to sort of note down or write down any feelings or anything that came up for you with both of these meditations, because by just sort of writing things down, that also can bring a little bit of closure to anxious thoughts. It's almost like by writing it down again, you become that character in that story. And again, you can step back and just observe your relationship with these thoughts and these feelings. And it just gives you a better perspective on things. So we meet again on the 22nd of February, so hopefully you can join me then, where we're just going to be taking this subject again a little wider. We're just going to be looking at other techniques that we can use in meditation to help us with stressful situations. So thank you very much for joining me, and hope to see you next time. Namaste.